This holiday season, every time you purchase a 12-ounce SnortBucks coffee, a portion of the proceeds will be given to the Penny Foundation, the world's premier charity dedicated to helping down-on-their-luck content creators pay their daily bills.
I need that money. I really do. I need that money. I need my bills, the electric bill, the internet bill.
So stop by your local SnortBucks today and help send some penny their way.
"2024 is stacking up to be one of the most, if not the most interesting year that I've ever been on the internet for me and possibly you."
Oh, look at that.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome.
Oh my God!
If you had just learned to laugh at yourself a little earlier on, then it would never have gotten this bad.
Oh boy, you feel how festive it is around here. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is 12 days till Goutmas. I'm your host. Season's greetings and happy holidays all around. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. And as I am continuing my campaign through the 12 days of Goutmas, we have one of three of our creators that we've chosen this year that's going to be on the board. Really excited about it. At this point, episode 1 should have been out already, and that had Minimology 101 in it. Big ups to him and happy holidays and whatnot. So this one, though, in particular, is going to also have another one of my personal favorites that hopefully you guys will enjoy as well. Mighty D, who has recently come out of retirement and whatnot, which is a whole nother story in itself. I'm sure he can tell you that at a later time and date if he feels the need to. So that's really cool. And sticking to the tradition of Goutmas, we're going to go back to the classics. Now, because it's Mighty D, of course, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to give you guys actually 2 videos instead of 1 in this particular episode. So that should be fun. But as usual, season's greetings and happy holidays to all of you. Thank you guys for giving myself and everybody here at GTG Network and Productions, the Snort Report, DSPNEWS, SnortBucks Coffee Company, and all of our subsidiaries and affiliates. A little bit of your time and day during the holiday season. I know it's hectic. I know there's a lot of things to do. There's a lot of last minute shit. Don't be like me and buy gifts literally, the last hour and shit. Try to, go out there and take advantage of the sales while you can and whatnot. But I appreciate you allowing us to have a little bit of your time each and every day leading up till Goutmas. So fun stuff. Also, because I don't know the order, because I don't know what particular order this is going to go out, there will be, I'm not going to count down what episode this is or whatever the case may be. So just kind of keep a mental count. And as long as you get 12 of them, everything should work out. So yet again, big up seasons, greetings, happy holidays. Let's go ahead and move over to the actual reason you guys are here. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and set up our scene. Being professional, not professional. I think I am. Let's go ahead and click that so we have no echo. And here's our thing here. Okay, so two episodes. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, yet again, welcome to 12 Days of Goutmas. And let's go ahead and talk about what's on the menu. So, 2 videos by another creator that we very much enjoy and have a lot of respect for, Mighty D. First video will be DSP Tries It, Super Mario Sunshine, wink wink nudge nudge. This is from December 28th of 2017. Link will be down in the description. And the second and final video of this particular event, since DSP likes to use that a lot, is DSP Tries It, moving new girlfriend in. Oh yes. This is from January 12th of 2018. Yet again, the link to these 2 videos will be down in the description. Now, ladies and gentlemen, see here, making sure all my ducks are in a row, which they are. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and just jump. Let's hop right on it. Let's see here. See if the video actually starts up. Yes, it do. Most certainly does. So that works out. And one more thing. I didn't get to... I'm not sure if the lower thirds worked for the memology videos, but for the memology videos. But they should work for the Mighty D ones. So big ups to memology 101 yet again, and then they should work for the Mighty D ones. We'll see. And hopefully all the other videos moving forward. Okay. Here we go. Oh no! We're supposed to actually leave. Okay, there we go.
I'm Darkside Phil.
Yeah!
Ultimate festiveness, right? We've reached the peak. We've finally reached the pinnacle of how festive one man can be. Thank you, everyone, for being here. First of all, I apologize in advance. My throat is shot. Earlier today, I did my WWE annual fantasy holiday simulation matches on stream, and then I uploaded them to YouTube at DSPGaming. So if you missed any portion of...
Actually, if you've ever watched any of those sims, it really actually, I think, at least some of them, some are better than others. But I think, I mean, they're all bad, but some of them are better than others. But I feel like that right there is a pretty good example of how much of a fucking fake fan of wrestling that he really is, and a mark for himself, to be honest with you. I always looked at that and was like, yeah, you're a fraud, for sure. For sure. You don't see any of the real, like, passion that a wrestling fan would have, right? Or even, like, a wrestling enthusiast or whatnot. It's really just someone who, can I profit off of this? Okay, cool, that's something to be hype about, and nothing else. Anywho, as we continue, as you guys know, first couple of rounds of SnortBucks is on me. Feel free to go ahead and list your flavors of choice. I'll get those served up. Here we go.
Those, you can go check them out right now over on DSP Gaming. It was
Over 4 hours of holiday hilarity.
Fun simulation matches. I had a ton of fun doing it, but I blew out my voice, so my throat is semi-swollen and hoarse from doing it, which is fine. Always happens every year, by the way, when I do it. I'm now trying to rest my voice. I figured I actually gave it a few hours between then and now when I filmed the weekend preview, because tomorrow I got another big day ahead of me, Christmas Day. So if you have not been around recently, you missed out on a ton of holiday fun. First of all, on Thursday, I did my holiday version of Ask the King. All those videos are now live right here on the King of Hate vlogs on YouTube if you haven't seen them yet. Tons of fun stuff, holiday-themed questions, all kinds of great stuff. Check that out. Then, on Friday, I did my holiday gaming marathon because of the patrons who pledged for it last month. We hit the goal. It was hilarious. I mean, started around 12 o'clock.
Me dressed up in a ridiculous Christmas sweater with this crazy ass hat, playing all kinds of holiday themed games, including Home Alone on the Sega Genesis. I almost said the Nintendo Genesis. Wow. Nights into Dreams Christmas Edition. Merry Gear Solid, which I completed, which was pretty funny. And then also Viscera Cleanup Detail North Pole Edition. While I was playing all those, I was drinking. By the time I got to Viscera Cleanup Detail, I was drunk. I was actually drunk between play.
He wasn't really that drunk, because I think Tevin actually restreamed that, but he really wasn't that drunk. But what's even more interesting, I think, is the following year in 2018's Christmas marathon. I don't even think he did one. I think that he looked at 2017, like the Patreon goal and how all the different ways you could support him, and he saw how he hit all of those margins, and so he thought in 2018 this will be a shoo-in, and it didn't happen. Like shit was falling apart pretty much from like October, like really from like August of 2018 all the way up to December. But if I want to be generous, which I don't want to be, but I think it's fair to put it out there, I'd say like October, like because the October event was garbage, the November event was garbage, and like it was written in the stars, if you will. It was painted all over one of the walls of the Snort fort that the Christmas event was going to fail. And I think that's the year he got sick. He ended up missing that whole event altogether, and then he had a pity party for himself afterwards, and nice little depression, a nice little depression period, if you will, leading into the new year of 2019, if I remember correctly. So womp womp to that.
Drinking all these different beers and eggnog.
I was like sloshing.
And I couldn't even play the games. I was not.
And he wasn't even sloshed. The beer was piss water as far as I remember, and the eggnog was it was literally nothing. Especially given all the years later where you see him taking those $100 shots and he shoots that shit back like it's water. He don't look affected at all. So make that make sense.
Over the buckets and everything. So after that, I took a little break. Then we came back and I played a little bit of Christmas Overwatch as well as some Christmas-themed PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Pretty fun. It was a very fun session. Everyone who was here for the marathon seemed to really enjoy it. And by the way, I want to say thank you to anyone who was there in person for the marathon who either cheered, subbed, or tipped, because that was an incredibly good day for me. Thank you very much. It was a really awesome event. So thank you to everyone who was here on Friday for the holiday event. If you missed out on that, that's also live.
Actually, wasn't it 2017 when Dan's Gaming, I'm sorry, ended up coming to DSP stream and giving like 250 gifted subs? They were like tier 1 gifted subs, if I remember correctly. But I want to say that was the 2017 Christmas year when he did that. And then that was a whole thing. Oh shit. Okay. First off, let me give some clarification to the particulars. So, and it still happens to this year, to be honest, or to our current day. But big content creators on Twitch, Dan's Gaming included, will gift like gifted subs to other creators, usually smaller ones. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a cool way of kind of showing some type of solidarity during the holidays and for the fellow community at large or whatever. Now, usually these people pick them out at random. And for whatever reason, DSP was lucky enough to win the generosity lottery that year from a much larger content creator. And like I said, it was either 100 gifted subs or it was 250 gifted subs. But they were all tier 1s, if I remember correctly. Anyway, so DSP gets it on stream. Obviously, he's stoked about it because it's large windfall and everything. And then... Oh, shit. I'm sorry. It's not funny. I mean, it is funny, but it's not funny. Sorry, but I'm not sorry. Some people approached Dan Gaming on Twitter, and they're like, dude, what are you doing? You know who you gave your money to? And this, that, and the third. And Dan was like, yo, it's the holidays. I do it every year. It was chosen randomly, yada, 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 yada. And then there was talks of, well, after a day or two, it was like, okay, well, maybe I'll refund it back. He didn't do it. And to be honest with you, I'm glad he didn't, because it doesn't, from a solidarity standpoint and for like future endeavors, it doesn't look good. Like, okay, you made a mistake giving your hard-earned money and your community's hard-earned money to this piece of garbage. But taking it back just seems dirty. Seems like something DSP would do. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, and that was kind of the end of that. But DSP had a nice little rant about that shit too, about, how I can't have what other people have, and this person showed me, some generosity or whatnot, and they get attacked and this, that, and third. They didn't get attacked, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Just some people were pointing out, like, hey, this is who you're actually donating to. You may want to be careful about that moving forward. But that was a nice little thing, too. But I can't remember if that was in 2017 or 2018. I want to tell you that was in 2017, though, to be honest. That's when that happened. I'll have to look to verify it, so don't hold me to it. But I'm pretty confident that was in 2017. Because Dan's Gaming never mentioned him after that. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. But that was hella funny.
over on DSP Gaming. You can check that out at your leisure. Saturday, I tried the Monster Hunter World Beta, played more PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and then, of course, as I just mentioned, I did my yearly WWE Sims today. So all that stuff is live over on DSP Gaming. You can check it out whenever you get a chance. Pretty awesome few holiday-themed days that we've had here, right? So now this is it. The big finale of the holiday-themed content is tomorrow, which is Christmas Day.
Well, Phil, what happens on Christmas Day? Well,
Number one, there's going to be an IRL stream after I hopefully recover my voice tonight. I'm not going to be talking too much else after I do this. Actually, I won't be talking at all after I do this weekend preview video. So that's good. I'll have an opportunity to rest my voice very thoroughly overnight. Tomorrow will be a special Christmas Day IRL style stream, or a vlog if you want to call it that. What will it be? Me on stream, on Twitch, talking about a ton of things. I'd like to talk about, first of all, why am I toxic? How things have gone this year. I want to talk about the highs and the lows. I want to talk about how some things went really bad business-wise, some things went bad in my personal life. On the flip side, some things ended up going really well on both sides. Just kind of weighing and balancing how the hell the year 2017 really was, all right? I want to give you guys an...
Now keep in mind, as he's talking about the business stuff, he's really talking about losing Machinima. And he never really got over that. Because despite the fact how he tried desperately, by the way, to big up Curse and how well they're treating him and the amount of money that he's getting, they never offered him a managed partnership, which obviously would have been a bad idea. And on top of that, even if he was getting a bigger cut of the money, because the majority of his catalog, let's not say that. I would say over half of the catalog, to be honest with you. Half of his catalog was immediately flagged for copyrighted shit. Not that they got taken off the internet or anything, or they got taken off YouTube. They just got flagged that they weren't eligible for monetization. And because he wasn't a partner, Curse couldn't help him with that. And the fact that Machinima was on their bullshit and were allowing shit to, somehow they were allowing shit to be monetized that shouldn't, like going back to the Nintendo saga, when Nintendo basically tried to open up their own MCN and forbade anybody on YouTube from making money directly off of Nintendo IPs unless you were part of their partnership program. That didn't last long. I mean, definitely a few years, if I remember correctly. But like that situation. But people who were on Machinima was like, yeah, we're going to circumvent that. So whether Machinima had some type of deal with Nintendo or whatever, they were somehow able to get past that. DSP, of course, still put out his false outrage that people in the Nintendo community, that he wasn't part of, by the way, were being mistreated this way. But then he couldn't help himself to humble brag and say, oh, well, because I'm under Machinima and I'm a managed partner, I can keep going the way I want to go, and I'm going to be fine. I'm still going to get my money. But for everybody else, that sucks. So it is what it is on that. But that's really what it was. His 2017 year was fucking crazy. The Machinima shit, Panda leaving his ass, fucking the War Dog leader situation, which was just fucking ridiculous how DSP handled that dumb shit, and everything else that was involved with that. The situation with Mort, maybe some of you guys don't even remember that part. Okay, Mort, real quick, was someone who was giving DSP like $2 donations, and he did this shit for like 2 or 3 months. And then he charged them all back at once. You know what I'm saying? It was like was it 150? No, it was like, I can't remember. It was like 2 or 3 months worth of $2 donations. And I think it came up to like, it had to have come up to like $240, $250. Something like that. But because Mort did each one individually, I'm not sorry. It's just funny stuff. The fact that that Mort did it individually, DSP had to literally go back and dispute each and every one. You know what I'm saying? So like when Mort put his complaints in, he forced DSP to do it in bulk. So it didn't really matter to Mort if he won the dispute or not. He inconvenienced DSP for like days on end. DSP literally went back and tried to fight all of them. I don't know if he won or not. I don't remember. But it was hilarious. That was hilarious that he spent so much time, that DSP literally spent that much time to do that shit. But then again, the money was already gone. And if he did lose the dispute and Mort got his money back, DSP would have been overdrawn. But throughout 2017, 2018, and 2019, DSP spent all those years being overdrawn on his accounts, according to him, of course. So did it really matter? Really? Really?
Update on my situation with these taxes and everything that's going on with me behind the scenes. I do have an update. it's kind of positive, but it's not positive enough that I can like rejoice and do backflips or anything like that yet. But I do want to let you know what's going on with that. And of course, everything else that's going on with me. Then I want to talk about Christmas. Since it is Christmas Day, talking about Christmas traditions, things that my family has done over the years, and the things that I enjoy doing. Talk about what I'm going to have for Christmas dinner and stuff like that. And then I want to get feedback from the stream chat of viewers. I want to talk to them directly.
I'm pretty sure, I don't know what he had for Christmas dinner that year, but I remember Thanksgiving, I think he had like a Hungry Man or some shit. It was on his Instagram. He was posting all of his pity, lonely e-thought fucking pictures and stories over there. That was a pretty funny period of time with that.
What did you get for Christmas this year? What did you guys do this year for holiday traditions, right? What was your holiday like? What is your holiday like typically every year?
It's actually awesome because right now outside it's snowing. It started snowing as I finish my WWE Sims. I'm having a white Christmas here in Washington, and I'm sure I'm going to want to hear from my viewing audience on what they're doing, right?
I'm leaving these lights up, all right?
Just to show how lonely he was, right? Because keep in mind, he was supposedly alone for months on end, right? He wasn't dating anybody, he wasn't seeing anybody, he wasn't talking to anybody, right? Leading up to this point. Like typical e-thought, you know, I'm not in a relationship type bullshit. And on top of the fact, but since he was alone the majority of the time, he really tried to ingratiate himself into viewers' lives, the people who were giving him money anyway, by asking them about their holiday traditions, shit that he clearly didn't care about. He was just bored, and he needed something to kind of like just dwindle the time down. And if he could get a couple extra bucks out of it by pretending he gave a fuck, why not?
What I'm hoping to do is later in the week, one night, because Wednesday night I'm probably going to do my grocery shopping, although I might not. I might actually do it Thursday night. I haven't determined that yet.
And that's another interesting thing too. Back in those days, after Panda left him, he didn't have the confidence to leave the house during the day, so he pretty much did everything at night. It was all under the cover of darkness. Like, he was really scared that people were stalking him, I guess. But that right there leads into an even more interesting coincidence, so to speak. And that, you know, DSP used to say that him and Catherine used to go out and run all their errands on their days off, this, that, and the third. And after a bit of time, I have to go out and run all the errands now. Then it's slowly just been like, oh, well, we had a bunch of stuff to do. And that led to the theory that maybe he was getting his groceries delivered, because there was no way that this specimen was picking up and leaving the house and going grocery shopping on his own and then coming back and carrying it all in. That just wasn't a thing. And then yet, people like myself, I never understood why he couldn't just have Catherine do the grocery shopping and just help her bring the groceries in later. Like, he couldn't trust her with something that simple. So I don't know. There's all kinds of there's all kinds of conflict of thought when it comes to this period of time and what ends up coming later.
Figure that out.
My videos on YouTube will never grow at this point, simply because YouTube has completely destroyed the website between changing the search algorithms, shoving little guys like me under the rug, and only allowing the big wigs to show up anywhere in search, making search only show negative videos about me, which is ridiculous, and ad revenue plummeting, right? So I don't really care about YouTube anymore. It's kind of like my backup. For those who cannot watch on Twitch, you can still watch archived on YouTube.
Keep in mind, if he wasn't a complete, utter fucking retard when it came to the Machinima and the Ad Apocalypse situation, he could have very well stayed on Machinima at least for another year and a half, 2 years maybe. You know what I mean? He did that to himself. Especially when, if you go back and look at those circumstances, all he had to do was go to Twitch and start streaming on Twitch, and then breaking his 24-hour embargo and uploading the content onto YouTube, which is what he ended up doing later on anyway. Like, the moment Machinima got rid of his ass, he ended up doing that. He's so greedy, he's so short-sighted, he's so stupid, right? Completely and utterly fucking inept, that he sits there and completely lives for the moment. You know what I'm saying? He is all he knows how to do is react. You know what I'm saying? He has no forethought. He doesn't understand how to anticipate a situation because he can't read a room. You know what I mean? He can't really fathom what his situation is at all, to be honest. Which is the reason why he he lashes out in anger in the first place. Because if he doesn't understand something, then immediately it's frustration. Frustration immediately turns into anger. Now, what is he going to get out of that? I'll be damned if I know. But that's his go-to, and he's never learned how to break that habit. But, you know, it is what it is. He's set in his ways.
But it's just an archives channel for me, while Twitch is where it's at for me, which is why I'm going to debut all that stuff first here on Twitch, okay?
Yeah, I'm trying to think in my head. I think I have enough food in the house to actually technically last me until, so if I go Thursday night, that should be okay. And that's good, because that'll give me at least 2 nights to work on the countdown videos and maybe be able to debut some too. So,
what normal person talks like that? Like, this dude literally was literally rationing out food. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're literally rationing like he's in Poland and shit, being fucking barreled down by the fucking Nazis and shit. And he's literally in the Snort Fort bunkers trying to ration out food until the next like delivery of food comes in. That shit's insane. It's insane that this guy lived in utter fear that he couldn't just go out and buy groceries. He had to wait until nightfall to do shit. He had to wait until nightfall just before Twirls and Curls or whatever the fuck that salon's called. He had to wait until just before they closed to go out there and get a haircut and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? That dude did nothing during the day at all. He just sat at home drunk, to be honest, lamenting on why Machinima left him, why Panda left him, why he can't get John or Howard to return phone calls and shit. Why does fucking Tevin fucking get all this money and all this exposure on YouTube and he can't? And yada, yada, yada. That shit was fucking crazy, bruh. Crazy. And he knows he did it all to himself, but he'll never accept it.
we'll see.
What happens in early January is majorly going to depend on you. That's correct, folks. It's going to depend on you. Here's why. Because right now, if you're not aware, over at patreon.com/DarkSidePhil, the goal that's going on, the Patreon goal, is a Metal Gear Solid Redemption run. If I hit the standard funding goal for this month, by the way, I should bring this up, we're only about $120 away from hitting the standard funding goal. We're very close. With a week to go, only $120. I almost could tell you, I think we're going to hit this goal no matter what. As long as a few more people pledge, I think we're going to hit it, all right? The standard funding goal, if we hit it, is that people who pledge $5 or more to my Patreon this month are going to get to vote in the first to second week of January on whether you want to see a redemption run of Metal Gear Solid 2 or 3. This means a run through the game where I will not be babied by stream chat. I will take it seriously. I'll play the game and pay attention to the gameplay mechanics, do my best to pay attention to the story, and actually do a legitimate run through the games, which I did not do the first time that I played these games some 5-6 years ago. I was just dicking around. Now I'm going to play.
Now, keep in mind, the redemption run was really him just trying to show. He was literally trying to show up. This is how you don't play. That's literally all. That was the literal point of doing it. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that he was able to convince people to give him money to do it, I guess you could say was just the icing on the cake or whatever. But I mean, that redemption run was terrible too. That redemption run was horrible too. And it was clear. It was very clear that he was looking at guides. You know what I'm saying? It was very clear he was watching other playthroughs not to make himself look stupid. And to be honest with you, it hurt him. It hurt him far more than it actually helped him. Let me give you a more modern day example of that. Look at, let's go to Dialaphone, for example. FGC guy, you know what I'm saying? Good dude and whatnot. Dialaphone, as you guys know, some time ago, went over some of DSP's Street Fighter footage, Street Fighter 6 footage, and tried to help him, and give him very good advice, to be honest with you. I can't deny that he gave DSP structure, which is what DSP needed. Here's the problem. DSP became so reliant on aspects of that structure instead of seeing it as the big picture, or instead of seeing it as a very strong foundation for him to build up and off of. DSP forgot everything that he was already doing that was maybe not good, but that was at least decent, and tried to adapt whatever it was that Dialaphone said and ran with it, without really understanding why Dialaphone was telling him to do these things. That's the unfortunate part, because Dialaphone did explain, hey, you should do this, this is why. Hey, don't do this, because this is why. So on and so forth. DSP disregarded all that. Oh, this guy who has clout, well, not clout, but this guy that has standings in the FGC is giving me advice on how to play and whatnot, so maybe I can draw in other people? Okay, bet. And then he just did a poor emulation or simulation, really, of whatever he was able to interpret that Dialaphone was telling him, and ran with that. And his playstyle changed. It wasn't good before, but it didn't get any better afterwards. Is that Dialaphone's fault? No. That's DSP being a fucking idiot. That's DSP literally showing the mental limitations that he has. And that's the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, that despite 3 different platforms this idiot's been on, he's gotten the exact same results or worse as it pertains to Street Fighter 6. doesn't understand anything. Either because he's too lazy, or he's just too stupid, or he's just literally just too stupid. And he was able to get away with it for a long time. Or to some people, he talked real good and he seems like he plays the part well, right? But when it's time to actually step up, he can't. He falls short each and every time. Traditional to every locale, to be honest with you. So it only makes sense. And in our current day and age, when you look at him playing Street Fighter 6, when he has enough confidence to do it, the beatings are getting worse and worse. And the scrubs are starting to thin out a bit. You know what I'm saying? As the game continues to go on, you know, those free wins that he's looking for, they're going to be few and far between. And because he wants to hide his ass in casual match or in casuals, he's going to run into killers almost guaranteed, because the only reason why people use casuals is basically as a training ground, as practice. And that's all DSP is. It's practice. He's a stepping stone. Nothing more. You know what I'm saying? He's not a barrier. He's barely a deterrent. So it really speaks for itself if you think about it.
Take them seriously, all right?
So, it'll be your choice as a patron if you want to see me play Metal Gear Solid 2 or 3 in January. Now, we have a stretch goal, which right now we're still about $1,000 away from hitting. No lie, no exaggeration. It's about $1,000 away from hitting it. I'm not saying we could still hit it. We could have a bunch of generous people who step up in the next week and say, man, I really want to help out Phil right now with his current financial situation, which is still, I'll talk about this more tomorrow in the IRL stream, but there's no way, I'm not even near being out of the woods yet with this situation, okay? I'm still very worried about it. I still need to raise more funds.
And that was the long-term scam. I remember that. The taxes, save the house shit. He was planning on milking that for years, and he did, to some degree, with various levels of success. That was the scam. That was the new scam that he was going with. You know, I'll use this whole thing about I owe back taxes, state and business occupation, and then federal. You know what I'm saying? Because if I didn't have the state and business occupation tax, I wouldn't have fallen back on my federal tax. Womp womp womp. And he was going to pull that. That was the new scheme. That was the new scam. You know, every quarter I need $2,000 or whatever it was to pay my taxes off, and I'm going to need you guys to really come through and support. And that was something he was planning on writing out for years. And I think there were certain situations like King Tut, Emerald 7, the Best Streak, things like that disrupted it, to be honest. Despite the fact that when him and Kat ended up getting married in 2019, Mommy kicked money over to him as a wedding gift and gave him money to get on a payment program with the government to pay the back taxes off, right, or whatever he owed, and so on and so forth. He had a lot of opportunities to fix the problem, but instead he drew it out so he could pull more money from it, which only exacerbated the problem, only made it worse. Legitimately the dog-faced gremlin. Holy shit. And I hate to throw shade at Rick Steiner, but goddamn, son.
So, if I hit this stretch goal, which is about $1,000 more on Patreon, all right, by the end of the week, one more week, I'll be playing both Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 starting on January 1st. Now, why is this beneficial? Two reasons. Number one,
this dude wanted, so what is that, 25? It had been like 2,500, I guess. It might have been $3,000, but I think it was like 2,500. So this dude wanted $2,500 to play 2 games that he got fucked up in, or while playing, I should say. And people did, this is how you don't play, is they made a complete and utter mockery of him, which it's debatable on, at that point, was that the point that actually killed any gamer credibility, if he even had any, in the past. That's wild. And why is that wild? Because that sounds like the Stellar Blade scam that's going on right now. That's exactly what that shit sound like. I mean, he probably sold it better here. He probably made it seem like there was way more uptick for the viewership and the people who contribute. But truth be told, a scam's a scam, no matter how you shake it.
Obviously, because you get to see both games in early January before the new releases start coming out. That's great. Number two, because I'll start on January 1st, I won't have to poll or ask any of the patrons for what they want to see. Therefore, you get to start starting on January 1st, I get to start playing Metal Gear Solid right away, all right?
I need the financial support right now. I really do need your help to try to get through this tough time with these taxes and stuff that I'm owed. So that being said, if you could pledge to my Patreon, if you want to be very generous during this holiday season and help me out and get me out of a bad situation, allow me to keep living here in this house and doing what I love, please pledge to my Patreon in the next week. 1 week left to pledge and make this happen, folks. I really want to just say overwhelmingly, we hit the stretch funding goal for the first time ever. People were incredibly positive and supportive. We're doing Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 in January. Let's make it happen. It's going to be so amazing. I know we can get there. I know we can. But I need your support, okay? So thank you very much, everyone.
And this goes back to this whole nice guy bullshit that he was trying to pull before Kino Casino showed up. Wow. And so, after you guys viewing that small segment, right, it only makes sense to me anyway, why he gave up this bullshit to be like, I'm the king and pay me for just existing. Pay me for being here. Pay the king's tax. I'm not asking, I'm demanding. It only makes sense. Because that nice guy bullshit wasn't getting past anybody anyway. Not anybody with common sense or who had, you know, the correct amount of chromosomes. So, like, let's be honest. Like, you know, he was tired of it. He didn't believe in it anyway. What he's doing now, he believes in. Because it's who he really is. He doesn't have to hide. He doesn't have to cheat. He don't have to lie. He can actually express himself in the way he actually feels. And that's probably the worst gift that Kino Casino gave him outside of attention and some of their pay pigs and whales, is that they sat there and opened up the Gouty Pandora's box and gave DSP the, I guess you could say, a free pass, the golden ticket to be himself and be okay with it. Which is ironic because that's literally going to be the destruction of him in the very end. They kind of just prolonged what was already the inevitability anyway, or what was already inevitable, I should say. It's actually kind of funny and poetic if you think about it. It really is. The very people that he put so much faith in are the ones who are going to end up fucking him over in the end, in some way, shape, or form.
Pledged already. Like I said, a few people in the past couple days have done some pretty big pledges to get us up to the $1,000 we're at now. One more grand and we're there. We're there and ready to do all of these games back to back. It's going to be great. 2 of these games back to back. All right.
The one thing I want to say, because I get the feeling negative people are being jerks about this, and I'm going to clear the air right here.
Well, Phil, if you don't hit your funding goal for this month, does that mean that you get to play Super Mario Sunshine right away in January?
No. And in fact, I'll tell you right now, no. Even if I don't hit the funding goal for Patreon, I will not be playing Super Mario Sunshine in January.
Now, keep in mind, he was already paid for that. That's the thing about the Super Mario Sunshine shit that chapped his ass. And it kind of still does, but was chapping his ass. Is the fact that he was already paid for it. And he kept prolonging it and kept pushing it back and pushing it back. And then he even did that bull. He tried to do a bait and switch with Spyro the Dragon. I was like, hey guys, you guys want Mario Sunshine, but I'm already playing 2 Mario games. He was playing Mario Galaxy, and then he was playing, Mario plus Rabbids, I think. And at that time, because he wasn't on Machinima, and whatever the situation was with Curse, he couldn't monetize that content on YouTube. He could only get paid for it on Twitch through donations or whatever. So when Mario Sunshine won the poll, he was already butthurt about it, but he kept it in the poll because that's what was bringing the money in. So the scam was, okay, guys, it's going to sound familiar to you too, at least it should. He's basically like, all right, guys, so I acknowledge that Mario Sunshine has won the poll for Patron's Choice, and I will play that game. But I can't play it right now because I already have 2 Mario games in the works that I'm not going to get paid for on YouTube. So the second game, the runner-up, which was Spyro the Dragon, I'm going to play that. But I'm still committed to you that I'm going to play Mario Sunshine. I'm just going to play it later on after, so this way there's not so much Mario bloat or overflow or whatever the fuck he termed it at the time. So he plays Spyro. Throughout that whole entire fucking playthrough, people were like, hey, you still owe us. It wasn't like, hey, are you going to still play Mario Sunshine? People in his chat was saying, hey, you owe us Mario Sunshine. We're not going to forget. He's like, calm down, relax, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to play it. I'm just not going to play it right now. And what he was hoping to do was he was hoping it was going to fade out. He was hoping that shit was going to fade away. And then he was going to double tap their ass on it later on for another Patreon's Choice. That's literally what the scam was. Because once him stalling didn't work, once the tractors kept putting the fucking boot on his neck, and he was essentially forced to do it because people in his viewer base were basically holding the charge and saying, holding the front line, I should say, and saying, you're going to do this. He eventually reveals, well, there's no digital version of it. I can't play it digitally. So the only way I can do that is to now buy a physical copy. It's the only way I can do it. And I don't know if I still have my GameCube. I don't know if I still have the peripherals. I don't know about this and that. Even though he has a Nintendo Wii, if I remember correctly, was backwards compatible. So he came up with all the excuses in the world. Somebody one of those guys over there in his chat helped him out, showed him where to order everything from. I'm pretty sure he got the majority of it off of Amazon. He eventually plays it and was mad and begrudging about that whole shit the entire time. How is that particular story of Mario Sunshine relevant to our current day? Well, to be honest with you, look no further than fucking the Krabby Patty situation. The Krabby Patty meal from fucking Wendy's. And the bait and switch he did with that, with the Addams Family bullshit at Burger King. It's just as easy as that, to be honest. And then I can even go further. Look at what happened later on when he was supposed to get 3 burgers from Burger King, from the $1 Million Challenge or contest or whatever that was. And then he ends up trying to bait and switch that with something else. Same shit. He didn't mind having it on the poll. He didn't mind that it was winning. But when it finally won, oh, I can't commit to that. I don't have time for that. And came up with all kinds of excuses and reasons because DSP doesn't want to be he doesn't want to be obligated to anybody, which is really strange. If you're going to beg people for money online, it's assumed that you're going to have to do something. And he's willing to do something, just not what he's supposed to do. And so on and so forth. So that's where my tie-in with this particular thing is. But it's one of the reasons why people lose faith in him. You know what I'm saying? Because DSP is legitimately a scumbag. He'll do anything and everything to try to wrestle control of a situation. He'll do anything to change the terms of an obligation that he has to anybody and everybody. It's just how it's what he does, and it's who he is. And he'll never be able to change that. And no one, myself included, should ever expect anything different from him. So how the fuck was Kino Casino enabling him going to fix anything? How was it going to change anything? So even if those guys really thought that everything they were doing for him was really going to be beneficial to them later on down the line, let alone himself, I mean, it sounds like fool's gold if you ask me.
Definitively no, because what's happening now is these negative jerks who've been trying to spin it for 2 months that I'm not playing Super Mario Sunshine, which I promised, which I'm still going to do, I never promised a date, are now saying, oh, you see, so what we should do is convince people not to pledge to Phil's Patreon so he'll play Super Mario Sunshine. No! I still need to save my house. I need to be playing games in January that are going to bring people to stream, that are going to bring people to contribute. And by the way, Super Mario Sunshine is not one of those games. Whenever I play Nintendo games, I get low attendance on stream, low views on YouTube. I don't get paid for the YouTube videos. It's like everything negative about these Nintendo games.
Told you. But then why did you play Mario Odyssey and Mario Plus Rabbids literally at the same time, like consecutively? Or concurrently, really? Like, so why did you do that? If you don't get any views, they don't bring any attention, you can't monetize it on YouTube, but you didn't mind playing both of them on fucking stream? Makes you think.
Now, I am going to play Super Mario Sunshine. I'm not reneging on my promise. I'm going to do it after this whole tax situation is done. So once late January passes and I've paid this giant lump sum of taxes that I owe, I've paid my tax lawyer, I know what my payment plan is going to be for the back taxes that I owe, and I'm assured that, yes, I can stay here, I've afforded it, and I can stay in my house. Then I'll play Super Mario Sunshine, a playthrough that I know I'm not going to make a lot of money on, or nothing on, and I can balance it with other new game releases coming out in February that are going to negate that negative effect anyway. I can't do that in January, so no, Super Mario Sunshine is not coming in January, just like
Now keep in mind, he was already paid to play Super Mario Sunshine. Oh shit, he was already paid. He got paid on the front end. But yet again, just like what I said about Stellar Blade, if those idiots paid him $41,000 to play Stellar Blade, if he actually hit the 276, let's say, what is that, 41,000 or whatever at $150 a stream, whatever. Do you really think he was going to be quick to hop, skip, and jump and play that game, knowing damn well that that's just going to die out after a couple of sessions anyway? Like, what obligation did he really have to play it? And who's to say when he would even play it? He knows it's going to die out anyway. But once he had, the point of it though is, once he has the money on the front end, fuck all after that. You know what I'm saying? He's already gotten the money. The scam was successful. He already has the cash. And at that point, it was already spent anyway. Something to think about. Like, people need, like those dents over there need to stop doing that shit. It's a literal scale. And the Mario Sunshine situation should have told people that. You know what I mean? I said, you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it.
I said last time we went on this subject, but again, the negative jerks are trying to spin it negatively and say, well, if Phil doesn't hit his Patreon goal, he'll play Super Mario Sunshine. So no one pledge. Everyone screw him over. No one pledge and help him. That way he'll play the game. No.
And to keep in mind, he had the same complaint too during the situation with the Krabby Patty situation. And then he said, oh, it's the detractors, trolls, haters, and critics fucking me. Then when Rich did his own little RTU Tries It of his Krabby Patty meal shit or whatever that fuck was, he had sat there and said, well, why that fuckwad poking his nose in my business? Fuck Rich. But then when fucking, what's his name? PPP, or Triple P, as DSP affectionately likes to call him, did it. Oh, he's just razzing me. All right, then we're just picking and choosing who can troll us and who can't, I guess.
It's not happening anyway. So you're actually lying to people by spinning it.
But remember, it's detractors, trolls, haters, and critics. These mentally ill motherfuckers are the ones who are always pushing the goalpost back, right? They're the ones that are always changing the narrative and the scenario to make themselves look good, and so he can never get a win, right? Or he can never come out looking reasonable. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Negatively, you're a bunch of jerks if you're saying that, all right? I understand there's people who want to see Super Mario Sunshine. I want to play Super Mario Sunshine. I'm not doing it in January, period. So just get over it, all right? Stop being negative and stop spinning it in a negative way, because that's not the situation. The situation is I need to do stuff that's going to positively bring people to the streams to allow me to save my house, and that's what's going to be. It's going to be games like Metal Gear Solid, a game that people have wanted me to see me replay since the day I played it and basically screwed it up and did a terrible playthrough of 5-6 years ago. People have been asking me for a year straight for a redemption run. That's the kind of stuff that's going to bring people to stream, not playing a game that I just played 2 Mario games not a lot of people really care about.
And those playthroughs weren't very good. I mean, I'm sure he made some decent money in the beginning, but by the end, it was just dragging on. Whatever. And keep in mind, listen to what he said. People have been asking me to do that for a year. Okay, so maybe you should have did that a year ago. Not a year later when barely anybody cares. I don't remember there being a large uproar of support over when he announced this shit in the first place. Keep in mind, there's still a week left until the end of the month, and he still hasn't hit the initial goal yet, let alone the $1,000 stretch goal to play Metal Gear Solid 3. So supposedly all these people have been chopping at the bit for a year, and you're at the last week of the month, and you're still down $1,150, which is $150 for the remainder of the goal, plus another $1,000 as the stretch goal. I don't know, champ. Doesn't sound to me like there's a whole lot of interest there, really. That's what it seems like to me. But he made all his money, though, on that Mario Sunshine patron goal, though. We made all that. Just throwing it out there.
There's a little small niche audience that cares about it. No, that's not going to save my house. Sorry. Got to be real adult time talk here. It's not going to happen, okay? All right. So, to summarize.
Oh, good shit. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that's it for our video. Appreciate you guys. I'm joking. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into the second one and whatnot. The next 2 rounds of SnortBucks yet again is on me. So yet again, feel free to leave your flavor of choice. Put your flavor of choice out there so I can go ahead and serve that up. Let's go ahead and get into our second video. Which one is this again? Is this him moving the girlfriend in? This will help later on with timestamps anyway. Let's see here. Mario Sunshine. Yeah, okay. Our second and final video of our broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, of our event is also brought to us by Mighty D. DSP Tries It, moving the new girlfriend in. This is from January 12th of 2018. Yet again, the link will be down in the description. Here we go.
Oh! 2 quick updates. Super Mario Sunshine will be happening in late February. Yes, the playthrough, I'm finally putting it down on, on paper, on my calendar. In fact, literally sitting on my floor over here, I've got 2 Wii HDMI adapters as well as a GameCube memory card that I ordered off Amazon.
Told you. I told you that dude had no intention of playing that game. He didn't even own the game. He didn't own a hard copy of it and whatnot. And he was trying to sell the idea that maybe it'll come out digitally, and it didn't. And that, I'm telling you, if you go back and watch the play, well, don't go back and watch the playthrough. I'm sure there's a "This is how you don't play" out there. Big ups to all of those makers. And I'm sure you'll find someone who did it and watch that playthrough through "This is how you don't play." He was miserable the entire time. He hated that playthrough. Every goddamn second of it. Oh my god. So much laughter that he had with that shit. He hated every minute of that damn thing. Every minute.
They've arrived. All I'm waiting for now is for Super Mario Sunshine, the game, to arrive sometime this week. I already ordered it off Amazon. Once it does, I'm going to hook up my old school Wii, the same one that I played Epic Mickey 1 on years and years ago. And I'm going to hook it up, and I'm going to get it working with my current capture setup. And then we're going to be doing Super Mario Sunshine playthrough in late February. Why late February? Well, reason being, folks, is because the other piece of information I got to tell you, I am currently working with my girlfriend. She's going to be moving in. It looks like, if things, knock on wood, go according to plan and nothing happens, no monkey wrenches thrown into everything, she's going to be moving in with me probably around mid-February, okay? How is this possible?
Now, so the story around Cat and Subaru and Subaru Man discovering their relationship. Tevin did a video on this because Tevin actually got a chance to speak to the guy. And the circumstances of, did Subaru Man kick Cat out? And she was saying it like, I want to tell you, if this part is true, I can't remember now. I'm pretty confident though that's what the narrative was. That Subaru Man finds out about the situation. There's a huge fight. They're upset or whatever, and eventually he boots her out. And she was staying at like a hotel. Maybe she was staying at like a hotel or something for a little while until DSP could finally move her to Washington. Because when she got there, for those of you who remember, she had nothing. Like, she literally had nothing. Like, when she shipped her PC and all of her peripherals ahead of time, that's where the lore came in with DSP with his hand cart. Because this idiot couldn't carry the box with all of her stuff in it, or boxes with all of her stuff in it upstairs. So he had to use this hand cart to get her PC and some of her other stuff upstairs. Oh my god, that shit was so fucking hilarious. Anyway, and then she pops up not long after that. And if I remember correctly, she only had the clothes on her back. She didn't have a cell phone. They had to get her one. They had to get her license. They had to get her work clothes, which didn't make sense because if she had a job while she was in Michigan and she was just transferring over to the same business, Walmart, wherever the fuck, and whatnot, that was in Washington State, why would she still need work clothes? They would just give her what is more likely to just let her take what she already had. Whatever. They had to get her all new work clothes. They literally had to start from scratch with this chick. So I can't remember exactly how that detail was, or if it was a fan fiction or whatever the case may be. But that was incredibly strange about the cell phone thing, because how were you communicating with her in the days leading up to her getting on the plane and coming to Washington State? Like, how are you doing that if she didn't have a cell phone? But then again, Phil and Kat never spoke to each other while they were in this long distance relationship, right? They never actually spoke to each other on the phone. It was always through text. So that leads into a whole nother wormhole if you want to go there with it. It's a very convoluted type of situation. Very funny stuff though. Very funny stuff. If you guys can find it, it should be on Tevin's channel, Almighty Tevin's channel, or it's on one of the archives. But he goes over the I can't remember if it was like an email exchange or he talked to the guy on Skype or whatnot. I can't remember how him and Subaru Man were speaking with each other. But there is like a video he did, it's probably 20, 30 minutes, where he kind of goes over a bit of it. It's an interesting watch, to be honest with you. It's an interesting watch. If anybody here can find it, I'll have them link it down in the description. But if not, the next time Tevin's streaming, you can ask him for it. I'm sure he wouldn't mind at least pointing you in the direction. But interesting stuff either way. Or either way, sorry.
Outpouring of support in December. You got me past my initial tax issues in January. It looks like I'm going to be able to afford my taxes easily. I should be able to afford the tax attorney easily because you guys helped me out in December. So this is literally something amazingly positive in my life that's happening as a direct result of you guys and gals. Thank you so much for your support recently. You made this all possible, okay? So, since she's going to be moving in, hopefully again.
And keep in mind, though, too, and as you see, Mighty D has it up there, too, more than likely, this whole tax scam thing, or at least some of it, I should say, was about moving Cat in. And he kind of admitted that during the situation with Side Scrollers, or with Stuttering Craig in particular, that, yeah, I was begging for money for fucking taxes, but I did misappropriate some of that for WWE Champions, which he did. He did misappropriate probably a large amount of those funds for WWE Champions. But I also think a lot of that went to moving Cat in as well. Getting her the plane ticket, giving her the money so she can ship all her stuff over. Because like I said, if I'm right about the timeline, that she did get kicked out and she was staying at like a hotel or something until DSP could move her in. More than likely, DSP was paying for all that because of the incredibly fucking disturbing relationship that she has with her mother. She definitely ain't staying with her. Fucking Jenna was in fucking California, I'm sure, sucking dick poorly. So she really didn't have any place to turn. But that's neither here nor there.
Again, in I almost said mid-November. Oh my God, boy. In mid-February, that means I'm going to be taking some time off, a few days. Is it going to be a super long time off, like a week or more? No. Maybe it'll be 3 days, maybe 4 days. We'll see. A few days off from streaming for her to arrive, for us to get her stuff into the house, to clean out this office across the hallway here that I haven't had a chance to even touch, and have her stuff moved into the office.
That was fucked up. Now, here's another thing about that. And I'm glad he actually brought that up about going ahead, getting all her stuff in, cleaning out Panda's old office room, getting her stuff moved in there. That seems strange. Don't you think, I mean, wouldn't you really have said that you would have most of her stuff moved into the bedroom? Like, that seems kind of weird. And that you already had her PC and everything in there. That's crazy, though, because he never cleaned up the mess that Panda left him. Actually, if you guys remember your lore, especially around the time where he was hanging up all of his gaming pictures and shit, his little museum in that hallway, I should say, I'm sorry. There was a couple times on stream where he was purposely avoiding that office. He was almost like he was scared to go in there. It was almost like he was scared to confront that Panda had actually left him. And when Cat finally got there, Phil didn't clean that office. Cat did. He made Cat pick up all of Panda's shit. He made Cat bag all her shit up. He may have carried some of that shit downstairs, and whatever they couldn't carry, they put into the nook. But essentially, he had Cat do that. And I can prove this. Because when Cat got there, she completely and utterly cleaned the house from top to bottom. Matter of fact, the first time Phil's room was ever cleaned was by Cat. Well, outside the few times Panda was allowed to go in there. But other than that, Cat was the one that was cleaning his room almost on a weekly basis for a little while. And eventually all that shit stopped. Phil didn't do shit. Phil didn't do not a goddamn thing. So that shows you what type of piece of shit he is. Which only reinforces why Cat looks and probably acts the way she acts now. That chick is not getting any type of physical, sexual, mental, emotional stimulation in that house. That relationship, which is not a relationship, it's an arrangement, it's an agreement, it's a partnership, is nothing more than smoke and mirrors. She's a beard. It's all about convenience for both people. DSP gets a maid, she gets a roof over her head and all the DoorDash she can eat, apparently. That's that. And no one's really going to be able to dispute that.
Get her settled in here. We've got some things we need to do in the state of Washington. Since she's moving here from somewhere else, we have to get her registered for certain stuff and things, get her in line. We're going to try to migrate her job over here. We got a lot of work we have to do initially when she gets here to get her all settled in.
That's another thing too. I'm glad you brought that up. As it pertains to her transferring jobs, because he was adamant that she had a job and she was just transferring over. She didn't go back to work for like 2 or 3 months. It was like 2 or 3 months before that chick went back to work. Now, taking a leave of absence or whatever, maybe even a short sabbatical, I get it. But, if she's in retail, I don't know too many places in retail that do that, to be honest. Not to say it couldn't happen. But I don't know too many places, which doesn't really mean much. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind.
And get us into a schedule of everything together and everything. But then, once that's done, then I'm going to come out of my time off. How many other days it'll be, 3 or 4 days or whatever. And I'll be playing Super Mario Sunshine as the major playthrough for the rest of February. Okay? So, just a heads up. Early February, I'm still going to be playing games like Dragon Ball FighterZ and Final Fantasy Dissidia. I'm going to be doing...
Oh, he was so garbage at that game. Dragon Ball FighterZ. I remember that shit distinctly. He was so trash at that game. He was so trash at that game. And keep in mind, this is the same idiot who was saying, oh, I made it into the top 10 of, what was it? Marvel versus Capcom Infinite. Yeah, that's what it was. He was saying that he was in the top 100 for that, so that proves that he was good. That game was garbage from Jump Street anyway. That game was such trash. Such trash. If he wanted to say, like, you know how DSP likes to say, oh, the only reason why people play Street Fighter V is because the FGC didn't have anything else. It was the only thing that Capcom had put out. So they had to basically latch onto it. It's ironic that he never said that about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite as it pertains to the Marvel community. Now, the reason why is because it's not true. They still had Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. But he could have put that out there and made a fair argument with it, but he never did it. Never did it. He just wants to keep shitting on Street Fighter V because he was bad at it. He was bad at it from Jump Street, and he knew he was never going to be able to compete in it. It's kind of interesting he didn't have that same behavior with Street Fighter 6, but to be honest, and I said this, years ago, he needs to play Street Fighter 6 or whatever the next Street Fighter was going to be at that time. He was going to need to play it. Not playing Street Fighter V was a mistake. There were plenty of people who came up and made a name for themselves, streaming, content creation, doing shoutcasting or whatnot, doing play-by-play of tournaments after the fact, which is something that guys still do. He missed out on a bunch of different opportunities. And the reason why is because he don't have no imagination, he don't have no creativity. But he missed out on a shitload of opportunities with Street Fighter V. He couldn't afford to make that same mistake twice. But in truth, by him trying to embrace Street Fighter 6, he only exposed how much of a fraud that he was. Now, was that a subliminal type of situation on my part to, expose him as a fraud? No. I'd like to think that though, but no, it wasn't. But it still worked out to my benefit either which way. Because I'm probably one of the few people who really, really believes that Phil is a fraud as it comes to his Street Fighter career. I mean, a lot of people joke about it, but I mean it when I say it. He's an absolute fucking fraud. He's an absolute fraud. And Street Fighter 6 has given me all the confirmation that I needed. It backed up everything that I pretty much said. The only thing that would really top it off for me is if he ran into John Choi, James Chen, Momochi, Alex Valle, Daigo, Takedo online and watched them clean his ass up. That's all I really but that's just a bonus though. My point has already been proven. But having that, just just the extra cherries on the cake, if you will, or the extra whipped cream and shit on my SnortBucks, that's just me being greedy, I guess. But that doesn't mean I still don't want it.
The Shadow of the Colossus remaster in early February as well, and balancing that with all the other stuff. Plus, I'm sure I'll still be playing games like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and maybe some multiplayer games and stuff. So that'll be the first half of February, then my time off for the arrival of my girlfriend. And I'll be, by the way, when she arrives...
She's not listening to it back. She sounds like a mail-ordered bride, if you really think about it. Like, she doesn't sound like a person. She sounds like a thing, an object. Oh, my God. Now, normally, I would probably feel I'd probably feel something about it. But, I mean, she asked for it, so it is what it is. That doesn't make it right. But she asked for it. But she sounds like an object. She doesn't sound like a person. She's a thing. You know what I'm saying? She's something to be controlled. She's only there because she has a job to do. Maybe it's just me.
more than likely I'll be doing some vlogging to introduce her and show you, how the house looks and everything now that she's here, which will be pretty sweet. And then after that time away, coming back with Super Mario Sunshine to finish the month strong. So I think February is going to be a great month as well. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are as well, okay? That's it for the week in preview. A crazy week this week with Metal Gear Solid 3, multiplayer stuff till the end of the week. Then we're going with the Dragon Ball FighterZ beta. I'm very excited for it. I hope you are too. I hope you're enjoying the redemption run of Metal Gear Solid 3. That is very, very different from my first run 6 years ago. Thank you, everyone, for your overwhelming support so far. Let's keep this going. The positivity is so overwhelming every day. I cannot wait to get to stream, and I'm so happy to be here and having this be my job and being able to basically share my life with you guys, right? And have so much fun doing it. And you guys are being so supportive of me. Let's keep this up. This year is amazing so far, okay?
Oh, fun stuff. Fun stuff. Oh boy. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty much it. That wraps it all up. Boy, oh boy. What stuff though? I gotta tell you, that was great. That was great. All right. Let's see here. All right, let's go ahead and get back to our situation about the close up shop. Yet again, big ups to Mighty D. Yet again, the links to those videos will be down in the description. Big ups to Chio18, who makes our holiday SnortBucks intros. Big ups to her, and obviously thank you very much for everything that she has done for the channel and whatnot, and for all of us. And big ups to all you guys for sitting around watching this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Partaking in the laughs, if you will. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 12 days till Goutmas. Take care of yourselves. Season greetings and happy holidays. And if everything works out, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves, people. Later. And make sure we hit that. All right, here we go.